Hello YouTube, DSN here, and I'm moist indeed. And today we're going to talk about a rather interesting video that has been going absolutely viral around the bike community. And this is a video of an annual ride out in the States somewhere. I think I saw I-95 at one point, so that could be bloody anywhere, I think. And yeah, there's quite a number of bikes, a good few hundred bikes. Now I don't know what the ride was for, or who was organising it, or what. Really don't know anything about it. What I do know is that there's a video, and in this video, the video starts, and basically a few of the bikes seem to have a bit of an issue with a 4x4 that's dawdling along in the middle lane, and you see the guy, one of the bikes sort of pulling up next to him, and I think sort of waving his hand down, sort of like a slow down, calm down sort of gesture. But again, we have no idea why or what happened before that. So then I think it's the same bike, I don't know, but there it is. Basically brake checks the car. Now the problem with brake checking a big 4x4 is that when the big 4x4 doesn't stop, the bike gets clonked. Now, hello friendly biker. Now, we don't actually see an impact, we don't see contact in the video, but as you can see it gets really close, and then the sort of frame cuts out, so you've got to assume at that point that there's an accident. Well, it wasn't an accident really, was it, let's face it, but there was a contact, you know, they hit each other. So at this point all the bikes come to a grinding halt. Now at first, I don't know, maybe don't you pull out on me. See your wheel moving, thank you. Where were we? Yes, sorry, that Celica really just threw my concentration for a second there. Just his wheel started rolling forwards, like, oh, I can't turn, it's wet, my tyres are cold. But anyway, so yeah, they all come to a stop, and you can imagine, God only knows what's being said between the driver and the bikes. And then something amazing happens. Now, I can only assume that the driver. Now, again, everything I'm telling you about this video that you can't see for your own eyes has sort of come off the rumour mill a little bit, but it seems to be agreed by most people that it was a 30-year-old male driver who had his wife and his child in the car, which is why it's even more shocking to see that he does that. Yeah, just plows the hell on through them, and you can see as the video goes through, you can see there's people underneath that 4x4. So whether they've got, you know, someone got hurt during that, and if nothing else, a lot of bikes did. So yeah, now what he thought was going to happen was beyond me. That he would just put his foot down and he would just leave, and everything would be rosy, you know. Maybe that's what he thought, I don't know. Anyway, that isn't what happens. Everyone takes off, and as you can see, 20 seconds later they're just stuck up right behind him, and they're not going anywhere. He could have stayed on that motorway all the way to Kansas, and they still had 100 bikes behind him, you know. They'd have stopped to refuel and come back, you know. He's not going to get away. So anyway, I won't play the whole clip. It's basically just them following the car until this point, where for some reason that white car is stopped or has stopped him. I don't know whether he knows them or what. Have you seen me? Yes, good. Now this guy starts coming from the left hand side, and as you can see, he basically whips the door open there, and of course the guy does the same thing again. But not only that, there's another bike in front of him. So not only is he now trash, I mean, you can, in that first bit of footage, you took out at least 5 or 10 bikes minimum, and probably their riders too. And he's just taken out another one here. Things just really aren't getting much better for him. And at this point, we all already know what's going to happen. 2 lorries, now, and a friendly bike. Say hello. Fine, ignore me. See if I care. I didn't want you to nod at me anyway. So yeah, eventually they take off again. They're all following him again, and then the 4x4 for some reason turns off the motorway and then gets stuck in traffic. At which point the same guy that he knocked off literally ditches his bike on the floor, does a little bit of a funny moment with his helmet, which sort of made me giggle, I don't know why, and then proceeds to smash said helmet through the passenger windscreen. Sorry, no, through the driver windscreen. They're in America. At which point the video sort of abruptly cuts. So, yeah. I genuinely couldn't believe how quickly that escalated. Now, a lot of people were saying that the bikes were I think one of the news articles, the only news article we actually found on it, was saying how bikes were harassing the car, which then, you don't know that. we don't know what happens before the footage comes in. For all you know, that guy, it could well have been the bike's fault. They could have just been riding along, and the guy could have just been doing his thing, for all we know, and the bikes just got, maybe they thought they were too close behind the bikes or whatever, I don't know. But, it could well have been the other way around. The car could have just pulled on and nearly taken out 2 bikes. We just don't know, so we can only really make assumptions, and blind ones at that. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Whatever is going to happen, why on God's earth he didn't go, hang on a minute, I've got my family in the car, there's hundreds of these guys, I'm just gonna get out of the way, I just don't want any part of it, is beyond me. And at that point, I'm sure all the bikes would have just gone on their way and everyone would have had a nice time. But that didn't happen. But for whatever reason, he decided to just, granted at that point, the bikes were probably reasonably pissed about something, and it is that group mentality as well, isn't it, where I suppose it's worse because there's that many of them, especially from a fear factor from the rider's point of view. But it doesn't, if you're worried about what's going to happen because you're parked there after annoying them slightly, what on God's earth do you think is going to happen after you run 7 of their mates over? It's honestly, now the report says that he was taken to hospital with lacerations on the face, which was from when the glass was breaking, from when the guy put the glass through with the helmet, his face got cut. Now, I'm amazed that the guy is still alive, honestly. I would expect, I was waiting to hear broken bones, a guy still in a coma, but like I said, I don't know. From the best I can tell, he was taken to hospital with lacerations, and no other injuries were reported from that incident. So I guess that means the bikes that got run over were fine. The guy that got hit the second time was definitely fine, because he was the guy putting his helmet through the poor fella. Well, I don't say poor fella. Well, I don't know the situation, but putting his helmet through the window. But yeah, I mean, in a way, irrelevant to what happened, I feel pretty sorry for the guy. Obviously, he was quite scared. I don't think he sat there and went, you know what, I'm going to run their bikes over. This will be funny. Watch this, love. But the car nearly rolls over. He's got his kid in the car. I don't know, he must have just been scared, or his wife must have been scared. Someone was panicking, you know. And he must have gone, I don't know what else to do, I'm going to go. You know, it's the only logical thought that I can possibly reason why he would do that. But again, I suppose you don't think logically in that situation, do you? It's a bit of it was fight or flight, I think. Anyway, so there you go, guys. The original link's down in the description. Go and have a look at it. Put your 2 cents in by all means. And yeah, what an astonishingly shocking video. But, you know.